might not have an intro, but I have a very, very long video for you guys today. So I didn't really cut out a lot of this, and the reason being is that for a few videos now, I've been promising you to tell the story of how I did an entire semester worth of work for uni in basically a day and one night, and the morning before the presentation, and got an A for it. Because it was about a famous designer, and some people in the comments said that they thought it would be interesting to both hear probably about the designer and my masterful skill of procrastination. But so we're going to talk about it in this video, and I purposefully left it for this video because, and we're first going to go talk about what we're building today before we get into my uni story. Because we are building a skate park, and you will later hear why I thought this would fit the topic, and also I wanted to build one. I have this series on my channel. If you don't know, if this is the first video you're watching, I have a series on my channel that is an abandoned zoo. And it's so much fun building this abandoned stuff. And someone in the comments, and I was so sure that it was in the comments of the last video, but it wasn't. Someone suggested building a skate park. I couldn't find your comment. If it was you, please comment again. I'll pin your comment. I'm so sorry, but I couldn't find it. But someone suggested a skate park, and I just loved that idea right away, but I knew that wouldn't really fit the zoo, so I just made it a one-off video. So this is basically just nowhere. This is in the same save file as my other one-off builds. So yeah, it's not connected to anything, and there's no paths or nothing, so I will put this on the workshop. Not sure if it will be on the workshop when I put the video out, but it will definitely be on the workshop. So maybe just check back in a few hours if you're seeing this right away. Yeah, that's kind of my plan. So why are we building? Why did I like the idea of a skate park? I think skate parks are so cool. I was always jealous of kids who did skateboard. And I also think skate parks, now as an adult who understands this kind of stuff, I think that skate parks are really cool because it's a city basically saying, hey, we care about teenagers, which they don't often do. I mean, me and my friends would always hang out at a mall, and now as an adult I know teenagers at a mall are kind of annoying, but there's nowhere to hang out. If you don't want to go to someone's house, and just hanging out somewhere is also kind of dangerous, so there's not a lot of places, and so I think that skate parks are kind of cool in the sense that cities care enough about teenagers. But that's just my, and also I just think that skating is cool. It looks cool. I did try it once. If you've never heard me talk about this, I don't think I talk about it a lot, but I used to do competition dancing, and so I had a friend who skateboarded, and she showed me some stuff, and I found it, I had an unfair advantage for someone who has never done it before, because as a dancer, you obviously know when someone tells you this is how you shift your weight and this is where you put your foot. It's fairly easy to do that, and also keeping your balance and stuff. I think if you've danced, you have an unfair advantage for getting started. Probably not later on, but for getting started, definitely helped. But I never really pursued it because there was no skate park in my area. And I don't know, never gotten further. So this is one of the things, my mom always laughs about this, because I always say, with some stuff, I say I will wait for my midlife crisis, and I'm 26, so it's kind of, I would say I'm still young enough to do stuff, and basically you're never too old to do stuff that you want to do, but it's kind of a joke that I keep saying that I'll do stuff in my midlife crisis. I'll save this up for my midlife crisis. I have stuff to do, That's why I'm not doing cool stuff now. But yeah, so I definitely think skateboarding is really cool. And also, like I just said, I think it's cool that cities care about teenagers. I don't think they really build a lot of skate parks anymore. But yeah, also they just look cool. And we're also, because I didn't want to just build a skate park, we're gonna make it Racoon infested, because I saw a comment and it really bugged me for some reason. I had said in the last video that I had a surgery and basically just hung out at home a lot in the past week. So I spent some time on the forums for Planet Zoo, and someone called the Twilight pack the Roadkill pack. And for some reason, that rubbed me the wrong way, and I can't get it out of my head, and I took that personally. I don't know why. I really like the Twilight pack. Someone called it a Roadkill pack, and I thought that was so mean. And so, it doesn't really make sense. Basically, I'm saying the person is right by saying that, cities get raccoons. I live in a city. I've never seen a raccoon, but I live in Europe, so yeah. But I don't know why. I also really love raccoons. I think they're really cute. And I don't know, they kind of just fit this urban thingy from their image, even though I never see them. But I guess you'll understand what I'm talking about. So I wanted to make this for raccoons. Okay. I think that was all I wanted to say about what we're building today. I also want to say trust the process, because it looks kind of weird at the beginning. I wasn't too happy with it, but as soon as the colors come in and come together, I think it looks better. And I also think it needs graffitis. And if there's ever a point in time where we get transparent billboards, which I don't think we will, but it would be cool, I'm gonna put graffitis in. But I decided that I was not gonna create graffitis out of in-game pieces. I could have probably, but didn't. But yeah, I just hope that you enjoy this little one-off thing, even though it's not a zoo. But it is kind of in this abandoned style that I think a lot of people really liked so far. So just enjoy while I talk about my procrastination masterfulness. Okay, so I had an assignment in uni. This was a year ago, and I had an assignment for a class about, and I had to look this up actually because I didn't even remember what the class was about, which probably means that I didn't learn as much as I should have, but it was about typography. So the placing and usage and meaning and history and everything of typography. So letters. Basically letters. Fonts, how different fonts were created, what they were created for, how they are used, and what positives and negatives different types of fonts have, what you call them, so just stuff that you need to know. By the way, I study design for marketing and media, so just so you know, I'm not just typographying. But yeah, so it was about typography, and it, that was what the course was about. But the final thing we had to do was to, first of all, give a presentation on either a contemporary designer that had a special way with fonts and special way with typography placement, or someone who basically created an iconic or a variety of fonts. So there's a word for it, but it doesn't come to mind. I think it's a German word. And it's really hard to think of German words while you're speaking another language, so just bear with me if I don't get words right. And like I said, I didn't even remember what the course was about, so if I didn't learn much, I didn't even know what it was about, so whatever. Good thing I'm paying for this degree. But yeah, okay. So we all had to pick a designer, like I said, and I picked David Carson, who very famous, still alive, not old school anyone. He's still out there, still doing it. So very contemporary, cool person. And I say cool person, and that will come back to bite me in the ass for what I'm about to tell you, because he's a cool person, and a cool person probably, usually, has a lot to be talked about there. So you have to think, other people in this course took someone who invented very basic fonts when it just started out that you would use computers for stuff, right? So these were people who did a job, who created something memorable, and you could have a presentation on them, and there was not a lot known about like their personal life or who they were as people. It was more like about the fund, which it sounds boring, but you have to understand that when I picked my designer, my professor said, "Oh, you will have a lot of fun with David Carson." And I was like, yeah, because I just saw some of his work and I thought it looked really cool. And so for me, it was like, okay, I will have fun with him. Here's the thing. That dude, very interesting, very funny, but there's so much out there about him because he is so characteristic. And there's a lot to go into with David Carson because it's he's a cool dude. And what I loved about him was that his whole thing was that he was not classically trained in it. He basically gotten in there with a good eye for design, and he just did it. And he broke a lot of rules, and he later on, I think he later on, or maybe it was my professor who said it, you have to know the rules to break the rules. He didn't know the rules, but he still did it very skillfully, which is obviously very interesting from a like artistic point of view, to see someone come in and break rules that they don't even know. So first of all, cool dude. Second of all, his profession for a long time was being a surfer. So while all the other people in my class had stuff to say like, oh, this is where this person went to uni, and this is the degree they got, and they got married in 1997, and then they invented this font, and this is what the font looks like. This was other people's presentation, so I was there with a lot of research about stuff that had nothing to do with it, but that kind of tied into his art style, because he was very much break the rules. Sorry. I've been talking for 12 minutes, let me cough. He was very much about breaking the rules and doing it differently, which I think is so cool. I'm a little punk at heart, so I love that. And what that also faced me with, because his whole style is also very associated with the grunge movement, so I really opened a rabbit hole there, because I ended up also having to kind of do like a detour through like Gen X culture, which very interesting because Gen X is not talked about a lot. We have a lot of like this generation talk, not a lot of Gen X in there. But yeah, this whole like mindset, like teenagers, I kind of had to go over this to really explain his significance, I guess. And then this whole other thing, obviously, of not being classically trained in anything. I mean, he did later on, I think, do that. And also, so now we get into how I did that in a day and a night. So we had like to prepare this because it was not just the presentation. No, because this is a design degree, meaning that part of our whole thing was also to basically write a book about the person. So it was like a booklet. So we had to design a booklet, write the text, do a presentation on it in front of the class, and obviously hand in the booklet. And it also had to be, just because this was the same professor that did like print layout for us, it had to be done in a way that it was ready to print. He didn't print it, but it had to be like all the program files and everything, it had to be done in a way. But you could have technically said, okay, now let's print it. So no stress at all, that's not a lot of work at all. Also, I'm horrible with writing text. I love presentations. I can freely speak easily. Probably easier than it is for me to speak here for some reason, but I like the feedback of people. I also like to make things interesting, which again came to bite me in the ass there. And Yeah, well, so the text writing stressed me. So that's why that's why I didn't start, because I knew I wanted to do the presentation. But anyway, so because this was a lot of work, the professor asked us to send in our like ideas of how we wanted to go about it, and like first like layout ideas or like scribbles of it or anything. So he was serious about the layout of the booklet too. Somehow I managed to just like bullshit my way through it. I didn't do anything. I just sent in something that was like very vague, and he was like, yeah, sounds good. But I had nothing. I had absolutely nothing. So everyone was starting throughout the semester and showed their progress. Maybe everyone was bullshitting it. I don't know. But definitely I did. So there it was, day before the presentation. I had not started. I had, I did look into him. I wouldn't call it research. I did look into him. I knew sort of what it was about. Did not expect it to be that much. Here's the thing. I'm horrible at not grammar. I'm good with grammar. I'm bad with like punctuation, and I'm bad with typos. So I started writing the texts while researching. I didn't like take notes or anything. It was just research text. And so because I had to be done during the day, because I had to send this to someone to proofread, because I couldn't just put it in unproofreaded, because that would have been a mess. So I was like working through it. So basically there was doing a PowerPoint presentation, writing text for a book, and researching at the same time while sending what I have to a friend via Discord. This is important later. Via Discord. So Discord has this like limit of thingies, so it's also like broken up, and I had to send it to someone. And so that was good, right? That sounds like it's not important that I send it to someone. It will be. So then he sent everyone an email that he would like to have a look at the presentations before class started the next morning. And he was like, if you could send it to me, because I think the class started at like 10, 11 something. And he was like, if you could send it to me maybe at like 7 when you get up. And I was like, oh, I will not get up at 7. I will go to bed at 7. And so I knew I was going to work until I send it to him and then go to bed. And so I did not expect that. I think he said it before and I just forgot because I'm that person. But so there I was doing all of that. But it helped that it is a very interesting topic. It's a very, very interesting topic to learn about. And if you want to look it up, his name is David Carson. David as just the normal known name David, and Carson as in car, like driving a car, and son as in someone's son. Father and son. So his stuff is really cool. Like I said, very like punk, grunge, whatever. So one of the like layout things that I did to basically send something in when he evaluated it before was doing something like, because his whole thing was like layering typography to the point where you couldn't read it anymore. Basically the letters and everything, they formed the piece rather than really saying something per se. You will see it if you Google him, but maybe I'll just put something up on the screen or something. But so I wanted to do something for the booklet, for the design for the booklet. I wanted to do something where basically this kind of pattern that he creates filled in the pages, and I don't think I ended up doing that, and I was so scared that he was gonna ask me why I didn't do it. So I was struggling around with the design of the booklet because I noted that the idea that I sent in didn't actually really work out, because he had a lot more than just his like famous grungy pieces. And this is also why I kind of wanted to do it in this video, not just because it was a long video, but he also actually did like advertisement later on for Vans, so such a skater brand, and he did a lot of that. He also did like, he really like, I think, was it 9 Inch Nails, but like alternative music style bands he worked with, and he did a lot of really cool stuff, but also a lot of like high profile advertisement, because his style was just cool and different and not sticking to rules, which was very, you know, fitting for the time of grunge and when, you know, young people like that. So I just, yeah, it's very cool, and that helped. So now you're thinking, wow, this sounds good, this sounds easy, it sounds like you're gonna be done. So it's about maybe like 2 a.m. I'm still working. Red Bull just made their year sale on me, except for I only ever drink off-brand energy drinks. I prefer them, but just for the sake of the story, let's say Red Bull made the sale of the year on just me for this night to go through with it. Mind you, I also already worked the entire day before that, so it's like 2 a.m. I saved the file to get a snack, and I come back to my PC and just InDesign, so the Adobe designing publishing app, so not Photoshop but InDesign, is closed, and I didn't close it. I saved it. I know I saved it. It's closed, and I load it back up, and I click on the last file that I was working on, and it says that the file is corrupted. And so I was just like, you know what? I don't need a degree. I can do something else. But so yeah, the file was corrupted basically, and I didn't get it back. So there I was, 2 a.m. I had 5 hours to redo my entire booklet. So the entire like layout, settings, everything. So thankfully, this is where it comes back. I still had all the text that I wrote because I sent it to my friend to proofread it. So that really saved me, because let me tell you, if I had to rewrite texts without anyone to proofread them, I probably just probably wouldn't have showed up for the presentation. And this was also thankfully for COVID, so I didn't have to like drive anywhere or anything. I did it from home, so that really helped, because let me tell you, I would not have had any sleep if I had to get up and get ready, put on pants, and took a bus somewhere. That wouldn't happen. I was really happy that this was gonna happen from home. But also, I still had to write some of the text, so I was praying for my friend to be up early enough to proofread the rest before I had to send it to the professor. And mind you, I still had a PowerPoint presentation to do, and me being extra and always wanting to do things unexpectedly, I didn't want to do the whole thing that other people do usually with presentation on people, where they go, they were born there, and then they went to school there, and then they went to college there, and then this and that. So I wanted to do that differently, because I like to make it hard on myself. So I didn't go that way. I made it topical. So I talked about surfing, and I showed designs of his that had to do with surfing, and I talked about his effort. He does a lot of like conservational effort on like sea life and stuff. So I talked about that and how he did campaigns for that, like his art advertisement stuff, right? And obviously later on I went into like analyzing his like style and everything, like the actual thing that this is about. But that's how I structured talking about him and his life, which just made it so much harder. I don't know why I did that. It ended up really cool. And then another thing, and this is because we don't have that much time, but another thing I really, really wanted to do, because you have to think this dude is contemporary, so a lot of the people that others talked about, they were like fairly old already or even dead already. And I had someone who was still actively being a designer, actively doing things, improving things, giving interviews, right? And also, by the way, I don't know if I said it before, but I also found out that my professor did a masterclass with David Carson. He was a very big David Carson fan, and if you've seen RuPaul's Drag Race, detour, I know, if you've seen RuPaul's Drag Race, you know in, what is it, season 6, when Bianca does Judge Judy on Snatch Game, and then she finds out that Judge Judy is RuPaul's favorite TV show, and she's freaking out. That was me when I found that out. So, whew, not good, but still managed it. And I also thought to myself, okay, he really likes David Carson. David Carson is way more interesting than a lot of the other people's topics are going to be. So maybe that by default is going to help, which I guess it did because I had an A on it. I'm still proud of myself for pulling an A on that one. But I do think I had to write an email to my professor saying that, you know, the thing still missed some of the text or wasn't proofread yet or anything. Like, I remember I had to send him an email that was basically like, yeah, so my file got corrupted yesterday and I have to redo it. But he was cool about it. I think he liked me anyway, but yeah. So, yeah. Oh, okay, the thing I wanted to do. So, I found an interview of his where he said that he hated PowerPoint animations. And I do too. I understand that. But his whole thing is break the rules when it makes sense. And so I was determined to find a point in my presentation where I would find a place where it would make sense to put in the PowerPoint animation because I wanted to break one of his rules and say that rules can be broken when it makes sense. So I just thought of myself that was very, like, big brain. I could have just not have done that, but I did do it. I found something to do it with. And the others laughed about it because, you know. But, yeah, so basically I held a presentation. It was really good. And it helps that I'm a very speedy speaker, as you can tell, because I got through all of that information and still had time for, like, a exposition, is that how you say it? Into like Gen X and grunge culture. Yeah. But yeah, oh my god, we're perfectly timed. So let's see you in the real-time part where we see the raccoons and actually talk about the build again. Thank you so much for listening to this. Alright, can you see that? It's the golden hour. It's after school and we met up for this skate park, but oh no, it's closed. Okay, now that we're in the story, do you know how many times I had Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne stuck in my head while building this? So yeah, very concrete, very big city. I love that. Like I said, golden hour because it's after school. Did I unpause the game? No, I did not. So we have these like little caution signs. I just found them on the internet. It's nothing important, but I just thought like some no trespassing would be fun. So, do we break into here? Yeah, I think we should. So yeah, just like sneak through this little gate. We'll look at all the other entrances as well. You know, some broken stairs here, but let's go up. These like decals really just like, yeah. And let's like skate down here. Woo. So yeah, I am after the video ended, I did add a lot more like decals everywhere, which, oh, that looks so cool. Look at with the sun. Yay. Oh, I hear Racoon. Where is it? Over there. Hello, sir. So yeah, there's actually not a lot for the raccoons here. Like, I wanted to include some water, but I really didn't find a way to do it. But yeah, I don't know. I think it looks really cool. I will probably do this as put it on the workshop as an exhibit, just because there's like some terrain variation here. They can go through the tunnels. That's so cool. Amazing. Oh my god. Yay. It works. Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot that they're so good at jumping. Oh, this is perfect. He was a skater raccoon. Said see you later, raccoon. Okay. So yeah. Also, we have these like soda cans here, and obviously everyone here is only drinking like cola and stuff. But yeah, there's just some up there. Yeah, some like brokenness everywhere, basically. And this, honestly, this is one of my favorite things. This looks so good. I feel like this just peeks through perfectly. And I hid some like stones and some trash in there. Yeah. So this was probably meant to be a little bit of a garden thing. Didn't stay that way. Oh, the sun! Look at the sun poke through. This is so good! I love that. I can't wait to take a screenshot of this. Everything for the Instagram is still ready, and I'm still doing it, okay? It's there. I don't even know why I didn't do it yet, but I have everything ready. And that will definitely end up on there. So, oh, another raccoon. Hello, good sir. It's squeaking so loud. It can go. Oh. What? Where did it go? Oh, outside. Okay. So yeah, some more drink cans here. And this is obviously very broken. I don't know what would have happened to it to look this way, but yeah, someone tried to secure it up. This also looks cool. Everything with the sun looks cool. But yeah, I love that they can actually go through the tunnels. That's great. And by the way, if you're someone who skateboards and you see things where you're like, nobody would skateboard on that, like, because I feel like this would be very steep, you know. Just you can let me know, but don't be mad at me, because I don't know. I think the raccoons can go up, but we can. So yeah. Look at that. But something I want to do is also go around it to show the other like entrances and exits. So yeah, let's go out here. There's more like trespassing signs. Yeah. Or just like, okay. Do you not want to live in a skate park? I get it. He's like, I'm not roadkill, I belong in the nature, not in a streetcar. Streetcar? Where did that word come from? The sun is so beautiful. There's more. Okay. So I wanted to go here. This is obviously a broken entrance. Also looks very cool with the sun and everything. So another screenshot I really want to take. If you don't know, I take my screenshots with higher graphic settings, so I don't do that while I do a tour, because I feel like the footage comes out smoother if I put the graphic settings down just a bit for these tours. So yeah. Over here. And obviously the idea is that on this other side there would be city, like just houses, but I didn't want to build an entire city. This also very overgrown, some litter. Another way in here for the raccoons. And we're back at the entrance. So I hope that you liked this. I hope that you found it fun and that you're not mad that we didn't actually continue any of our ongoing series, but I just really wanted to build this, and I hope that you also liked the story about my uni work and how chaotic that was, and I also think that I also hope that you like the raccoons and you don't think of them as roadkill, because they're so cute and they're so jumpy. Look at someone jumpy. Okay, I don't know what that was. Sorry. Okay, so I hope to see you around another time. Bye!